Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. The afternoon, we lay awake in bed. The glass so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop. Shout from the top, we're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The best we ever had, and we'll stay young forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. Running wild, we're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes, just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours.
29 and I find myself wondering, what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again.
Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be
Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes, just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you.
How's it going? Oh, the camera's down. How's it going, everyone? Kids played on a computer a little bit, so I guess they use the webcam for their gaming and stuff. There, looks better. So we have a lot of people, which is good because I haven't been here last week. Honestly, I need the watch time. And I have a lot of stuff to talk about. Nothing major, but there's still some cool stuff that happened. Plus funny, not funny little story that happened today. So we have Tina. Good evening, Tina. Jennifer, thank you so much for stopping by. Marilyn is here. Little homestead by the beach. Fisherman 506. Lee is here. Tracy is here as well. And I see 7 people watching, so hopefully some more people will join throughout the live stream. And once I'm done, if Scott at Rambling with the Brooms is still on, you will be redirected to his live stream. So last weekend, I didn't do any live stream at all. The reason being that Friday I was playing softball. I play in a semi-competitive league. Well, the league is not that competitive per se. I mean, we play against other teams. You know, we had to pay a registration fee. We have referees, umpires. We have playoffs and stuff, but the teams are new and not that strong. When you win a game 17-2, I think it was, we played again Wednesday against the second best team in the league. We crushed them 21-1. But Tuesday of this week, we decided to do a little crossover with another team from another league, which was kind of cool, very interesting. It was a real competitive softball / baseball game. We played softball, but I mean, it was, we had to play the game. We won 4-2. It was a game where the pitchers were just awesome. When you have to steal the bases to end up scoring, we had young kids announcing the players that were at the plate and the ones that were in the waiting circle. They had a board where they showed all the scores, strikes and balls and outs, which was pretty cool, pretty interesting because we're really not used to that. Let's just say that there's a huge difference in the budget between our team and theirs. Hello, Karen. Thank you so much for stopping by. And last Sunday, I didn't go live either because we were butchering our meat chickens. The meat chickens, it was the second half of my flock. The first half, they were all about around 5 pounds and 5 1/4. Hello, How to Garden. Thank you so much for stopping by. The smallest one was around 2.5 pounds, but it was a crippled chicken. She had 2 broken legs, and I wanted to butcher her right away because, you don't want to have animals suffering. If it wasn't for the fact that she was probably suffering, I would have waited for a second batch, and I would have done her last weekend instead. She would have had time to get bigger. But we ended up with chickens between 6 and 8 pounds, the second batch, which was pretty cool. And no, I didn't go live since then, so I'm going to be talking about something interesting that I found out. I have grapes here, and the vines were planted with the roots. Last summer, some of them were planted even the year before, 2 years ago. They're about 3 to 4, maybe 5 feet high, and it's still basically, well, I'm not going to say a stick, but definitely smaller than a screwdriver. Well, that part, it's bigger than this, but smaller than that part here. Maybe the size of my thumb. I put the light a little bit. And that being said, when I was over at my friend's to butcher the chickens, we went in the back of the property to get his chickens because he has them on a chicken tractor. And since I've taken that foraging class, I kind of like to look around and try to identify stuff. And I also try to find stuff I don't know. That way I can take pictures and do my own research and then try to see if I was right by asking my teacher. And I was looking at something. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. I would swear those are grapes growing like in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And then the more I looked, the leaves were right. They had those little tingly thing there where they grab around other trees and other branches, and they had the grapes. So I looked at them. I said, "Hey, what kind of grapes are those?" And my friend's like, "We don't have grapes there." And I replied, I said, "Those are grapes. I can guarantee you they're grapes." And then my friend looks at me and she's like, "You know what? You won't believe me, but I think that this is the tree that I threw out last year." And I looked at her and like, "What do you mean?" Like, the tree was dead. The grapevine was dead. And they threw it back the property, like in the woods. But it just happens to be the same spot where they throw all their chicken manure. They don't do the compost thing. They don't compost their chicken manure. They should, but they don't. And they throw everything out there. You should have seen those grapevines. It was attached to other trees growing around them. And they were 15, 20 feet high, easily. And they were full of grapes. So I learned that chicken manure does very, very, very good on grapes. So as soon as I have time to clean my chicken coop a little bit, I will be putting some chicken manure around my grapes. Something else I decided to buy, those, I don't even know what it's called. They're round. They're, oh man, what's the name? I had to search by the name, but I just don't remember what it's called. The weed barrier circle thing made out of fiber of some sort that you get when you buy a tree from a nursery. It's usually in a pot, and you have that thing on top to stop the weeds from growing. What I do now is I take those things and I keep them around my fruit trees. I found some at dollar store. They're very, very tiny, but they were like 3 for $1.50. They're about the size of a small plate. And I put those around my honeyberries and grapevines. That way it's going to stop the weeds from growing right next to it. It should give my fruit trees a little bit more time to grow. And I'm hoping that it will actually help them get healthier, keep the soil humid, because the water can get through, but not the weeds. I also found some on Amazon. They're a little bit bigger, but they're a lot more expensive. You would pay like 12 of those round things for like $20, if not more. But I'm thinking about getting some at some point because I really, really feel that it will help not only to keep my fruit trees clean from all the weeds and the bugs and all that stuff, because if you don't have any weeds growing next to your plants or your fruit trees or shrubs, chances are the bugs won't go up to the fruits. Well, I'm hoping anyway. You can always be hopeful. If you have space to grow more chickens, you can sell them to earn extra dollars. You can even take a deposit in advance to buy them. I agree. This is something that I could do. I know some people that are doing it. Problem is, we butcher them ourselves. And if I do that and someone decides to rat me out, I could be in trouble. And not only that, it's a lot of work. Well, not necessarily that it's a lot of work, but it's always in a time where I have so much going on that I don't want to take on more chickens. Anywhere between 50 and 60 is about the maximum I can go. I feel like 50 is borderline too much for me because you still have to buy the feed. And with the inflation right now, it costs me about $150 a feed for my meat chickens. I have the rabbits to feed. I have the chickens to feed as well, and the turkeys. And it's $25 a bag. And I get between $200 and $225 extra on a paycheck. So if you do the math, it doesn't leave me much for anything else. So if I have to bring in more feed, I'm not sure I could make it. I'm not saying they don't grow around here. I've never found any. We have a lot of cherries though, but we don't really have wild grapes like in the surroundings from what I could see. Although it would have been possible, but they remembered that they threw one out last year thinking it was dead. So they're thinking that it could be that one. There was never grapes there before until this year, and they threw one they thought was dead last year. Grows wild over here too. That's awesome though, as long as you know what it is and you don't mix it up with something else. Everything I'm planting in buckets is in pure cow chicken manure. It's done amazing on my plants. Yeah, some people say that you shouldn't plant anything straight in manure, but I feel like you can plant all the shrubs, trees, and plants. I would not plant roots vegetables like carrots and potatoes right up in manure, but I've done it in 100% compost in the past, and it's doing awesome. Geotextile. Yeah, well, the fabric there, it looks like coconut fiber. Honeyberries are awesome. Wish you grew here. Would you probably have blueberries though? But they're kind of hard to grow. And I was looking at my blueberries this year, and for once, I feel like my blueberry bushes were actually producing a lot of blueberries. I moved them last year. I put them somewhere else where I think that the soil is a little bit more acidic. And it seems that it seemed like it was doing right. It was doing good. it was a good decision. But the problem is we've had rain one day in the last month and a half. So all the blueberries are like, they have wrinkles in them. They're blue, but they're so dry. Like even taking a bite out of them, it's almost like chewing on cardboard. I'm afraid that it's going to be the same thing with the wild blueberries. So there's a chance we might not get blueberries at all this year. Although, other than my personal apples, everything else seems to be doing great. The cherries, we've had a few cherries. I'm gonna have a few chums. Pears and plums didn't start producing yet, so whether it was this year or the few years before, I've never had anything growing on those fruit trees. The white currants are doing great. The red ones, not so much. The honeyberries grew very, very well. Well, more than usual. Everything in my garden, like the zucchinis and cucumbers, started growing. I harvested a few already, and I have to say it's at least 2 weeks ahead of what it usually is. And I think the only reason for that is because I'm watering the garden like crazy over here. At the community garden, I don't really do it. On Sears property, I don't really do it because it's lower, almost at the same level as the beaver pond. So I'm guessing the soil is already wet. But I haven't been watering really. Even in the community garden. I was there today. On one single zucchini plant, I can already see like a dozen zucchinis starting to grow. The plants are doing amazing. I'm going to have onions. I'm going to have zucchinis. I'm going to have cucumbers. I should have tomatoes soon. I'm going to have peppers. The rutabaga, they're doing incredible. Looks like I'm going to have a few potatoes. Not too much. I didn't really plan on putting any potatoes in the ground, but I got some for free, and I figured I was going to put them in the ground. The peas, the beans, the peas are just going nuts. I have some here. I have some on Sears property, and I have some in the community garden. I've harvested lettuce, spinach, kale, zucchinis, cucumbers, strawberries, raspberries started as well. Yeah. So we finally had rain yesterday. Finally. And because of it, I decided to take the day off today. I took a day of vacation, try to go and find some mushrooms, but it was still too early. I found a few chanterelles, but, well, they were about the size of this little, very, very small. Have you ever transplanted a black raspberry plant from where it is growing to another spot? Black raspberry, I've never found any. It's a wild plant, but in the wrong spot. I was wondering if I could transplant it to another spot. Oh, definitely. They're all in the same family. Blackberries, raspberries, yellow, black raspberries. They're all in the same family. They can be transplanted pretty well, and they should survive easily. Yeah, I thought about it, and even have people pay in advance for the chicks and feed them when processed, charge a profit. Then you aren't paying anything up front. It's not a bad idea. I know some people that do it. They do it for their family, making a little cut on them just so they don't lose money. but I find that it's already enough work for me without having to do it, like to do some extra work. Isn't that crazy? It won't grow for us, but throw it out and leave it alone and it thrives. Totally. Same thing happened with one of my elderberry. Well, I have one elderberry tree and one red currant growing. I tried to grow some cuttings, putting everything in compost with water, with rooting hormones, give it love, put in rainwater and all that stuff. It died. I took some branches out, and I was too lazy to throw them out. I just planted them in the soil right next to me. I went there to spring, and they were growing. Like, what's going on? So blueberries and honeyberries are almost the same thing. Yeah, but they're not really good. They have no taste. And if you take a bite on it and it tastes like cardboard, it's not fun. We enter the zucchini season here. We have 4 or 5 about ready in the garden. Yeah, and it goes fast. Once you get the first few ones, I already harvested one striped zucchini, and another green zucchini. I should have some yellow ones and a lot more at the community garden coming soon. On Sarah's property, the zucchinis are not doing too well, although they're still alive. They have a few flowers, but they're about maybe 1/10 of the size of the ones I have here. The ones I have here, they're about 3 feet high. Well, maybe not. Well, yeah, easily, if not more. The ones that on Sarah's property, they're just like this high and this wide. Really, really small. No, Remy, peas are not the same as nuts. Yeah, I know. They're going crazy. I know he's probably not listening, but I will say it anyway. Today, it's been 11 years since my last kid was born. It is Lucas' birthday today. He wanted to eat some chicken nuggets and poutine for supper. So that's what we did. When it's somebody's birthday in the family, we cook what that person wants to eat. So Lucas, if you're ever watching this, happy birthday, my son. Last Saturday, the kids wanted to go do some yard sales. I was actually hoping to find some gardening stuff, especially since it was one of the old nurseries that shut down were selling stuff. But man, the cost of the stuff they were selling was just insane. When you get some stuff from dollar store at $1 and you're asking the full dollar for your stuff and it's been used, I mean, come on. You still have the $1 tag on it. I'm not going to pay $1 for something second-handed when you paid $1 for it. So I didn't really find anything at all. We came back home. My daughter Miley was celebrating her birthday. Her birthday was on June 24th, but she was waiting for her friends to come over. She was actually waiting for them to be available, and last Saturday was the day that they were supposed to come. Thank you, everyone, and hello, Karen. Thank you so much for stopping by. Buttercup and Fern Homestead. So she was all happy. We must have spent around $200 buying stuff. She wanted to have a little spa day with her friends. So we ended up buying about $200 worth of stuff for her birthday. The cake, all the beauty products and stuff. and each of her friend, she was inviting over 3 friends for sleepover, and each of her friend was getting like a little, um, well, gift bag with a bunch of stuff in them to enjoy for the spa day. Um, Everything was starting at 6. Around 4 o'clock, one of them called saying that she couldn't come. She was supposed to come at least for the evening and go back home because she had a soccer tournament on Sunday. Unfortunately, the parents decided they were leaving Saturday and they wanted to go sleep there, get an hotel and all that stuff, so she couldn't come. And around 7 o'clock, one of her other friend called her saying that she was at her grandfather's camp and she couldn't make it. So my daughter was really disappointed, but Miley is happy girl, and she doesn't really. Well, maybe she was probably sad about them not coming, but she stayed positive, and she didn't show if it was affecting her anyway. When we asked her if she was okay, she's like, "Oh yeah, at least my best friend is here." And her best friend looked at me and she's like, "Yeah, like I'm her best friend. Like you knew I was gonna be here." But yeah, thank you. But she was, she was okay. She's like, "At least I got my best friend here." She spent a lot of energy running around and having fun with that friend, and she laughed and she enjoyed herself regardless. Yeah, she probably does. I mean, she's 12. If it was me, it would hurt. But she's usually not easily affected by those things. And when we asked her, she was just like, "Well, it's okay. I'll be fine. As long as I have my best friend here, we'll have some fun." And they watched a movie and they slept in the living room. They made a little cabana there, a little shelter with sleeping bags and stuff. Yeah, at least one came. So yeah. And they enjoyed. They had fun. It's all that matters, really. I was on Sarah's property at some point this week to feed the turkeys because I still have the turkeys there. And he has a crabapple tree, and I was looking around and I saw some other tiny, small apple trees growing around it. Send a message to Selge to see if you wanted me to clean around them, if you wanted me to transplant them somewhere else. I saw something falling there. I don't know if it was just dust or hopefully it's not a spider and whatever. And yeah, so Selge told me anything that's small, you can bring it home. Go ahead and do it. So later in the fall, I'm going to go in his orchard. If I find any small apple trees that are small enough for me to dig out, I will bring them home. Well, I mean, not all of them, but a few of them for sure. I want to build an orchard. He already has the orchard, but he wants to maybe transplant a few of his own as well. But he told me if I go there and I find some, then I can get them. So I can't wait for the fall to go. Plus those hair grafted branches that I did. Hopefully some of them will take. I'm pretty sure the one I planted 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure it didn't make it. but I'm leaving it there anyway in case. Gave it a lot of water, a lot of compost. Maybe, just maybe, the roots will take, the tree will survive. I also have one wild apple tree that I transplanted like 5 years ago. It died, but it's coming back. So I just have to cut like all the shoots that are coming up and keep the one main stem. But I don't know. I have no idea what kind of apple tree it's going to be. It's going to be a surprise when it grows apples in a few years from now, if it does. So I went on Sarah's property today. I was trying to dig up the first apple tree. And those little bugs are everywhere. Leave me alone. I was trying to dig up that apple tree, and turns out that it was just a little shoot coming from the roots. So when I was trying to lift the roots, it just removed the little bit of soil that was on top of the root, the main root. And really there was nothing there. Like there was no roots other than the big root that was about this big from the main tree. There was no way for me to dig out that apple tree. So I went to the second one. The second one had a nice rooting system. So I picked that one up. I came back home, put some compost, soil, chicken manure, rabbit manure, a lot of water. The chicken manure was about a year old. It's not fully decomposed, but it's almost. And the apple tree had roots. So I'm going to put it in the pot for now. I gave it a lot of water. I put the sprinkler on right next to it. Hopefully it will get enough water to survive. I did that with the third one. Although the third one, I don't know if it was just a shoot coming up or if it was an actual tree growing. When I removed it, I ended up with about maybe this much roots. So I listened to Self, and I'm just hoping that it survives. He told me as long as you have a little hair of root, it should survive. Put it in compost, give it a lot of water, put it in a pot, and hopefully that will make the job. That will do the job. And that's what I did. So I'm hoping that this one survives. They should both be crab apples, but if they take, I can graft on them. I have a grafting kit. I should be able to graft something on it. So we'll see if that works. But I want to go around where I hair grafted a lot of apple trees and see if I have any small trees growing. There's an old orchard right out of the street here, and I'm pretty sure if I go there and I don't go face to face with a black bear, that I should be able to find some apple trees very easily. Now, I need to speak to the owner first, just out of respect, even though it's been abandoned and they don't go there. I know we can harvest the apples, but before I go with my shovel and start digging, I still want to talk to them. There's a few wild apple trees. Even on my dad's property, I can probably go there and find a few wild apple trees growing from all over the place. Give it chicken manure, dying apple tree. Yeah, I should just give it chicken manure and leave it be, and maybe even take it out and just throw it in the chicken manure. See what happens. I never even checked mine. I checked one, and I didn't want to open it too fast. I want to keep the soil in case it wasn't ready. But as soon as I opened it, everything just fell. And it was just a tiny tiny little bump of roots. So I don't know if it's enough. I still put it in the rooting hormone. Give it a lot of water, rooting hormone, put it in the soil, give it some rabbit manure. I tied it up with a rebar post. Hopefully it will stand straight. I'm just hoping that it has time to grow some roots before the fall. If it does, it will survive. If not, it will die, unfortunately. But at least I gave it a try. Something else we did last weekend. I have a friend, Kristin and Randall. They had little Rhode Island Red chickens. And for those of you who know, my daughter Miley, her chicken is actually more like a pet. Ketchup passed away last winter, and she was begging me to find more Rhode Island Red. She wanted me to find some more of those Ketchup chickens. So we went and picked them up. I purchased 7 of those little chicks, and we kept them here for a little while inside the house. I don't really have the setup I used to have. Luckily, though, it was really, really warm and humid in the house. It was really warm and humid outside. I was even able to bring them outside. It was on my week of vacation, and I was able to bring them outside with a cover for the sun, and they really enjoyed themselves in the grass for a little while, and then I would bring them back inside for the night. But they were starting to get big, and the little crate they were in was getting small, and are not big enough, and I don't have space here to put them. So now that my meat chickens are gone, I moved them on Sarah's property. So I'm just hoping that they don't get eaten by snakes or whatever it was that ate my chicks a few years back. But at 3 weeks old, this should be big enough so that whatever went after them last time should leave them alone. I'm hoping anyway that whatever it was is going to leave them alone. You never know. I mean, a weasel could go inside and eat them all. But I don't know why. I have a feeling last time it would have been a snake that went in. And either that or the chicks just left on their own last time by getting out, and they couldn't get back on their parents' side, and they ended up dying. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just hoping those chicks survive. And if they do, I'm going to have 7 more Rhode Island Reds. And end of September, it's still giving me about 10 weeks. In 10 weeks, it'll be 13-ish weeks, maybe even mid-October. They'll have all their feathers. They won't get cold, and I can introduce them here with my chickens here. And if I have a rooster, well, I'll just feed him meat grower feed and put them in the freezer at some point, because I'm not allowed to have roosters. There you go, little bug. Christine told me you said hi to her for me. Thank you. You're welcome. And I told you I was going to do it, and I did it. She also told me that they have a nice spot on their property where they can go sled in the winter. She told me if I wanted to go with the kids, she would let me know, which is pretty cool. I'm hoping that she invites us. What else? Well, the little story that I have to tell you, it's kind of funny but sad at the same time. So I purchased some of those trellises from Amazon. They don't cover the whole cucumber aisle. So I have a string or a wire going from one end to the other. I have the netting coming down for about, well, I had the netting for about 2/3 of the aisle. So I went to dollar store and purchased some more, the cheaper ones, of course. They're like little net, kind of tiny little holes. Put that there, hoping the cucumbers were going to grow on them. They do a little bit, but not as much. But at the same time, I transplanted those cucumber plants a little bit later, so they still need more time to grow. This morning, like every other morning, I went to check the garden. It's always the first thing I do. I go in the garden. I eat a few raspberries or strawberries, depending on the season. A couple weeks back it was strawberries and honeyberries, and now it's gooseberries and white currants. And I still have some strawberries, but I get some raspberries as well. Sometimes I'll just grab a leaf of lettuce and eat it. But this morning, I went to check on my cucumbers and my zucchinis, and I found a little tiny bird stuck in my net. I didn't want to touch it with my hands because you never know. Like, I didn't want the bird transfer some illness of some sort. So I put on some gloves, went there, grabbed the little bird so he would stop moving. He was trying to peck at me, obviously. He was scared, poor little thing. But I think it was flying because he went like halfway through the net, and it seemed to be stuck, like he had his wing stuck in one of the holes. So after taking the gloves and my knife to try to cut around the bird without hurting the bird, I was able to remove the bird from the net, but it still had a little piece of net attached to it. So I put him on the ground to see what he was going to try to do, hoping he would stay there until I went and get some scissors. Grab the scissors, come back. All that process took me about 15 minutes. Good evening, Dave. Just picked a pail of tomatoes. Nice. Awesome. The whole process took me about 15 minutes by the time I found him stuck, until I was able to remove all the netting from the bird. Put the bird on the ground, hoping it was going to fly away, but obviously he was hurt. And it was his friend, tiny little bird, flying around me from one post to the other, just, bitching at me. Or either just being upset about his friend being hurt, which is understandable. It was kind of cute in a way. So I put the bird on the ground, turn around. I wanted to leave him for a few minutes to see if he was going to leave on his own. I hear the little, I don't know what kind of noise I could imitate. Something like this. So guess what it was? Yeah, my cat jumps out of nowhere, starts running, then starts crawling, and just jumps on the bird. All that trouble to try to save that bird's life, only to have the cat I was able to grab the cat by his collar, told him to let go of the bird. He did let go of the bird, pushed the cat away, grabbed the little bird again, kept it in my hand to see if he was going to fly away. He seemed to be even more hurt at that point. And I didn't know what to do. I tried to put him on my grape trellis to see if it was able to stand there at least. He was too weak for that. I took him on my pig little shelter I had. Figured he was going to be high enough, and it was metal roofing on all sides, so I don't think the cat could really climb, although it could probably jump, but it would at least give a chance to the bird. Yeah, it's kind of sad for the bird. Kind of, well, a little bit funny at the same time. I mean, all that trouble only to have the cat jump on it, and I mean that's what cats do, right? But it was I didn't want the cat to get the bird. I can't eat the bird, and the birds don't really bother me. They're not eating my fruits this year. They ate my seeds a little bit from the start, but after my plants were growing, they stopped. So yeah, it is a circle of life. It happens. I came back inside and went back about 10 minutes after. The bird was gone, but I could still see his friend, yelling and chirping and, jumping around from one tree to the other. So I figured either the tiny bird fell from where I put him and he was struggling somewhere on the ground, but I didn't want to walk in the tall grass and step on him. I couldn't see anything moving. Maybe a fox caught it. Maybe the cat caught it. Maybe he was able to find his strength and left. Maybe he fell and ended up dying. I don't know, but I feel like I did my part. I just could not predict the cat was going to come out of nowhere fast like he did. And I mean, not like I could just grab the bird and force him to fly. Yay, 26 months already. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Tracy. You were the first one to be a member, and I did a video just for you when I started, and it's still there. It's still there. Something interesting that happened also. Anthony went fishing with this. I think he went with his paddle board. He just went a few feet from the shore, and he caught some mackerel. And from what I understand, a lot of people are catching striped bass like crazy. So there's a friend of mine. He's a native, and he catches them in his nets, and they don't really do anything with them. And since I'm allowed to have 4 in my possession, he's allowed to give me 4. He's allowed to give 4 to my girlfriend. He's allowed to give 4 to each and every one of my kids. So in theory, I'm allowed to have 28 in my freezer. In theory, at least according to the guy I spoke to with Canada Fishery a couple of years back. So if it's not raining in the next few weeks, I will go bass fishing, especially now that we have some mackerel. It should be awesome. You tried. Birds are pretty fragile. Yeah, definitely. It's still not fun. Like I don't like seeing animals suffer. I mean, I hunt. I'm never gonna be a vegan. I hunt. I eat my food. I eat what I catch. It's part of my food. Same for fish. But knowing that an animal is suffering, if I'm hunting, I want to put him out of his misery as soon as possible. So what else going on with you? Is everyone having a nice garden this year? I know, Marilyn, you were talking about the zucchini season just starting, but anyone else? Jennifer, how's the garden coming along? I am tired. I don't know why. I just wanted to see what was on that USB key. Still planting it. The other ones we received today, the brown compost bin for town compost. You mean every household is going to get one of those bin for compost? Or you say we in terms of like the town is going to have a bin where you can go and drop your stuff and get some compost or whatever? Okay, so every household in the town has to compost, or it's if they want. That's pretty awesome. And is it mandatory or it's optional? Meaning they're allowed to don't use it if they don't want to, or they have to use it. I was when I was talking to Randall and Christine last week or the week before, they were talking about how the meat from a black bear is actually very good, and according to them, the taste is not that far off a moose. So I'm thinking that since I'm not going moose hunting, then I'm gonna invest a little bit more time and go bear hunting. I can just buy my license and go bear hunting whenever I want. Well, not whenever I want, but I mean during the time there's a time frame. But it's not like a moose. I don't need to win a lottery to go bear hunting. I can just buy my tag and go. I'm going to have to buy my deer tag as well and apply for doe. The doe is a lottery, and I'm hoping that one of us gets it. Is baiting legal? I don't know if it's legal per se, but everyone does it, and the wardens are not doing anything about it. And I mean, they know the people are doing it. When they arrive at a hunting site, they can see the barrels and the food, so they're not stupid. Now, is it legal according to the books? I'm not sure, but I'm not baiting. I just happen to leave the remains of all my fish, all the pieces I don't eat, and I made a compost pile in the woods. Well, we won't use it much since we do our own compost. I don't know if it will make people put their compostable things in that bin instead of garbage bin. So it is legal according to you. Okay, makes sense. Loaded with bears in my woods. 900 pounds one. But do you see them? If you tell me you see them, I don't mind going there and hunting one. But if you just know that they're there, it's a different story. I would need to drive back there. Obviously, I don't want to walk in the dark because you stay there until you can't hunt. So when you get back, it's dark. You have to put your rifle away. And if you have to put your rifle away, walk in the woods after you've been hunting bears, it's not really, safe. I know where there's a lot of bears, but it's all private properties, and I'm not going to go and bait bears just like that. And I don't have the money and the time. Well, actually, I think I do. I have the boards here to build a little scaffold for this year. I actually do. I have some boards here already. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I have my drill. I have some screws. I have some boards. I just need to go with my chainsaw, fix a little stand somewhere. Interesting. Yes, that's what I need to do. And I'm going to get on it right away. Like, not now, but I mean tomorrow. Some students here are hunting bear, take a rabbit organs that we don't use. Nice. So it is legal then. Yeah. Pretty cool. Because all you have to do is feed them for 5 days. It's all that it takes for them to get the habit. And you do the same thing every day. If you go there, you make noise, you walk there, or you do whatever you want. You can just talk, blah, blah, blah. Hey, bear, I'm here. I'm going to give you some food. And you can just be talking to yourself. You put the food in the barrel, and then you leave. You can do the same thing. Once you're gone, the bear's going to find the food. Then if you go back and you start talking again, blah, 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 the bear will hear you, and eventually you'll understand that if you're there talking and slamming your doors and whatever, that there's food there within 15 minutes. So the bear's kind of smart that way, and it'll get used to it, and it'll just go every day at the same time. Get the food that you're giving him. So the actual first day you're actually hunting, you can just go up your stand, not make noise when you go up, but make noise when you get there to put the feed in the barrel. You go up your stand by not making too much noise, and you just wait. The bear's going to come out, which is pretty cool. 5 days. It's all it takes. My neighbors see them. You can drive there off my driveway in the back, and I have a big clean lot in the middle. Nice. Holidays coming for Thanksgiving and stuff. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. Thanksgiving, though, it's in October for us. And I think, well, it's still going to be hunting season. I think it starts early September, goes until the end of October. Let me check. Google bear hunting season, New Brunswick. When can you hunt bear? So let's see, bear. So it's from September 2nd until November 2nd. But you're not allowed to hunt with a rifle during the moose season, which is September 23rd until September 28th. And here in Canada, well, in New Brunswick, we're not allowed to hunt on Sundays. And I think it's pretty much only here in New Brunswick. So September 2nd, which is only in a month from now, and it lasts about, well, precisely 2 months. So that's pretty cool. I went bear hunting in late November once. It was way too cold, so I put my clothes back on. Hunting bear. Yeah. Funny. You see the poop in the yard too? Yeah, well, if you have apple trees, they're going to be around. Most of the time, if there's a lot of apple trees, all you need to do is wait until the sun starts going down, and it doesn't take long, they come out. My dad doesn't want me to bait on his property, and I have to respect it because it's parallel to the road, and it's only a few 100 feet from houses. So he doesn't want me to bait the bears to come near the houses. But at the same time, the bear's already there. And that's his argument. The bear's already there. Why would you bait them? Just to make sure that they're there when I go. But it's okay. I can find another spot. Not too worried about it. Put some black oil sunflower seeds out. Supposedly they can smell that 100 yards away. Oh, interesting. I have a lot of those here. Interesting. Yeah, not sure I want the bears to associate my voice with food. Then they will think my scream of terror as they eat me are a good thing. Yeah, no, it's just a matter of creating a habit. If you go take a walk in your trail on your property and you just talk to yourself, they'll know, oh, it's only Tracy. We don't need to bother. Like, you know, they won't be afraid. They won't go after you, but they'll know that it's a human and they won't be spooked. They'll get used to your voice in a good way. But if you just go like once and you don't do anything, you don't talk or anything, and you spook them, then that's when it might get dangerous. But I will definitely go bear hunting, and even Anthony wants to try, so I have to make the scaffold big enough to put two folding chairs, put something so that it doesn't rain on me. I can actually just put a few tarps. I have a big tarp here. It should be very easy to do. They live in the old broke down barn next door at the vacant house next door. I'm loaded with apple trees. My clear lot in the wood is surrounded with apple trees. It's overloaded with apple tree. Nice. Well, before you move, before you sell the land, you need to go and take a look to see if there's any smaller apple tree that you can actually bring with you or give to me. Just come look in September. Yeah. I know there's a lot of black bears back there because my girlfriend's cousin lives not too far from there and he hunts them too. And he has the spot, the perfect spot, like a huge blind where, well, it's actually a cabin on top of a hill, and he can feed them down, and he can just be sitting on his porch and hunt them. You know. But if we can get at least one or two doe tags, two would be ideal. Maybe we'll be lucky and have a male as well. Anthony's going to apply this year for doe. It's going to be 5 of us, maybe 6. I don't know if Jack's applying from Good Timber Farm. Good Timber Farm. They used to be Wren's Homestead. They're now Good Timber Farm. But I'm pretty sure if he gets a doe, he's going to keep it for himself. But I need meat. I'm going to have to call my friend as well to see if he still has pigs like he did last year. And we'll see if we have a spot to butcher it, or if it's not too warm, I can probably go at my dad's and just ask him to lift the tractor bucket so that we can clean it up, gut it up, and once it's cut in half or in pieces, we can bring it to the butcher very easily and still save a ton of money. Last year, it cost me about $420, I think, and I ended up with 250 pounds of meat, 260, I think it was. So it's less than $2 a pound, which is a lot better than what you get at the store. I love being around my land a bit, or I have been around my land a bit, but can't get back there walking because of the tall grass, so you can't air graft, but there's a ton of apple trees, and I want to air graft as much as possible. And you can air graft what you want. If you want to drive me back there and help me, I want to get as much as possible before I move. We're going to have to make it happen. I'll check my apple trees around here, the one I hair grafted. If it works, good. If not, I mean, I was told that it takes about 2 weeks. 2 months, sorry. And I waited 2 months only to see just a little bump on the branch. So I'm not 100% convinced that it works with apple trees. Probably does with like grapevines and things like that. Anything that you can take a cutting and plant it straight in the ground and grow it, or anything you can just touch the ground and make it root, like currants, raspberries, and things like that. Those are probably very easy. Gooseberries and things like that, you don't need much. You just need to put soil around the branch and it'll grow roots. I used rooting hormones. I did. I have a jar. You saw it the other day. I think I have the same kind as you. I put as much as I could on a branch before I put the soil. I even put a little bit of a rooting hormone on the top of my soil so that it would stay there when I closed it, but it didn't really work. Second is a tiny cutting. Yeah. So the one I had was, I don't know, maybe the size of this. Maybe the size of a nickel. So I guess I'll wait longer. I don't remember. I know I used some small root balls somewhere. I just don't remember where. Hello, Tiffany. Thank you so much for stopping by. Canadian Family Life. It's been a while. I've been so busy, and I'm sure it's been the same for you. Well, you know what time it is for me. I'm going to roll into my bed now. Thank you for stopping by, Marilyn. I'm almost done too. And have a nice weekend. And I'll probably talk to you tomorrow. 2 months, not second. Yeah, I figured. But you're right. Maybe it was just because the branch was a tiny bit too big. I did a few ones that were really big. So I don't know if I should wait until next year. Thing is, in the winter, if it gets too cold, the branches die. And that could be what happened to you with your branches that didn't have rooting hormones. It's not necessarily that you didn't have the hormones, but probably more the fact that they were slower. And by being slower, they didn't have roots, or maybe they were just starting by the fall, and they ended up dying because of the cold. My gooseberries are doing great, and they're full of fruits, and they're full of roots. So I will be transplanting those soon. But yeah, Selge is right. I need to go where I know that there's a lot of apple trees growing and look for those little either suckers or tiny apple trees growing, because there are some. You just need to find them. All right, take care, Tracy. So Lee is still here. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Awesome. Okay, well, it's a good time for me to get off, and we will all be redirected to Scott Rambling with the Brooms live stream. So I will see you there in a minute. Take care. Bye.